Alright, in this video we're going to learn how to use the sum and difference identities. In this table right here, alpha and beta represent two angles. Now let's take a look at how to apply these identities to different types of problems. We'll begin with sine of 75 degrees. The first thing you want to do is try and figure out two familiar angles that either add or subtract to become 75 degrees. Hopefully you notice at this point that 75 degrees can be split up into 45 degrees and 30 degrees. So now this trig expression matches one of our identities, which is going to be this one. The next thing I want to do is label our two angles as alpha and beta. So just like this. Let's go ahead and apply this identity to our problem. So notice first you'll have sine of alpha. In this case it's sine of 45. Next we're going to use cosine of beta, which in this problem is cosine of 30 degrees. Next we have the plus, and then the cosine of alpha now, which is cosine of 45. Finally we have sine of beta. And here we have a string of trig expressions that we actually know the values of because we have our unit circle. So let's go ahead and figure those out right now. So using your unit circle, you should be able to get these values for all four trig expressions. All you have to do is multiply them out and simplify. And after calculating all of this out, you should end up with root 6 plus root 2 all over 4. Now let's look at cosine of 165 degrees. When you look at your unit circle, you might want to try and guess as to two angles that either add or subtract to that 165 degrees. In this case, 165 degrees is going to be a difference of 210 degrees and 45 degrees. So when we figure that out, we'll notice that we're going to use this identity. Now let's label our angles for alpha and beta. So let's call that one alpha and this one beta. Next we'll apply the identity. So first we're going to have cosine of alpha. In this case it's going to be cosine of 210 degrees. Next we're going to multiply that with cosine of beta, and in this case that's going to be cosine of 45 degrees. Then we're going to add to that sine of alpha, which is going to be sine of 210 degrees. And finally we have sine of beta, and that's going to be sine of 45 degrees. Now once you have that set up, go ahead and find the values of each trig function with your unit circle. And finally you get an answer of negative root 6 minus root 2 all over 4. Now it's your turn to find the exact value of these three trig functions. Use your unit circle to find the values and first try and find the two angles that either add or subtract to these angles. Good luck!